Well, an Ontario woman is igniting a passion for fashion for those going through tough times. Her name is Nicole Snobelen, but to the kids in hospital, she's known more as a fairy godmother, helping them design their fantasy dresses and superhero capes just to put a smile on their faces. Well, Nicole, it's all part of a charity that she's trying to create called the Abby Fund. And for those kids, tonight's a big night, the charity's third annual fundraiser, where they will model their dream capes and gowns. And ahead of the event, Nicole joins us right now from London, Ontario. Nicole Snobelen, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, we'll talk about it a bit later, but you are trying to transition this into a more formal charity, but right now, I guess, technically a project. Tell us about what you do.
So I meet with children in the hospital to design their dream dresses and superhero capes, and then I bring them to life for them and gift it to them.
And why do that? What's behind this idea?
So ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to be a fashion designer. And my aunt had given me this designer game where you would create an outfit and color it. And that game gave me a dream. So I went to school for fashion design, and then I started my own clothing line. And so with my clothing line, every year at Christmas, I would give away 2 dresses to women who couldn't afford them or were going through a hard time. And so when I launched my kids line, which was called Abby Girl, I wanted to do a similar thing but donate dresses to kids who couldn't afford them, or their parents couldn't afford them, or they were going through a hard time. And I got an overwhelming response of people nominating children who were in the hospital. And being a startup company, I could only afford to do 2 of them, so it was really difficult to only choose 2 recipients. And so I ended up meeting with one little girl. Her name was Kiana, and she was waiting for a kidney transplant. And so when I met with her, I didn't tell her what I was there for. I just went into her hospital room and said, I'm a fashion designer. Do you want to sit down and design a dress with me today? And she said yes. So we colored for a little bit and came up with this really cool design. And I asked her if I could borrow the drawing for a couple days and I would return it to her at the end of the week. And she said, sure. So I took it home with me and I brought her drawing to life. So I created exactly what she drew and built this dress for her. And so when I went back to the hospital, I handed her her drawing and said, do you remember drawing this with me? And she said, yes. And so I said, I have a surprise for you. So I handed her this box. And when she was opening it and realized what it was, and that was her drawing had come to life, the entire vibe in the room changed. And she had this big smile on her face. And I knew in that moment that I made a difference in her day. And I wanted to do this for as many kids as I possibly could. So I opened this little jar and I wrote on it the Abby Girl Fund. Because I couldn't afford to keep doing this out of my own pocket, I started reaching out to friends and family, asking if they could donate money to the fund so that I can continue doing this to support buying the materials and fabrics and stuff.
It's such a touching story, this idea that you're trying to change the lives of children in hospital by brightening their day. Do you get a sense of what it means to them to have a dress that came out of their imagination or a superhero cape that came out of their imagination?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the whole process, I feel like it takes them out of the situation that they're in, which is really difficult. I mean, being a kid and being in the hospital and missing your birthday or not being able to celebrate Christmas with your family or dress up for Halloween is difficult. And to have something to look forward to, like designing a dress or a cape, and then actually seeing that physical thing come to life, I think is empowering. It's inspiring.
Now, I wonder how much of this is inspired by your own personal experience, because my understanding is that you know what it's like to be in and out of hospital.
I do, yes. So my illnesses came to me later on in life, but I feel like I can relate to these kids because I've been in and out of the hospital. I've gone to treatment every other Friday for a year and had multiple surgeries. So I know what it's like to be familiarized with the hospital, but being an adult is so different, and I couldn't imagine being a kid and going through what they go through every single day.
Now, as you say, you've set up a fund so that you could fund your material so that you could make this project happen. But what about the hours that you put into this? That's something that you haven't monetized. How much time do you spend trying to brighten the day of these children in hospital?
Yeah, I mean, it's completely volunteer on my end, so it can be difficult running my own business and finding the time to do this. But I mean, at the same time, it's important to me because I enjoy it so much. But these dresses, depending on the drawing and the capes, could take anywhere from an hour to 8 hours to make. So it's a huge commitment on my end. But like I said, I absolutely love doing it.
So what do you hope to happen with the Abbey Fund?
So right now, we're actually in the process of registering as a not-for-profit organization. So we're going through the application process for that, and we're hopeful that we'll be accepted for that.
Well, Nicole, we wish you well. What a wonderful story. What a wonderful thing you do for children who are in hospital. Thank you for sharing the time today.
Thank you so much.
And that's fashion designer Nicole Snobelen in London, Ontario.